Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're gonna be taking a look at r/relationships, where OP's wife was banging another guy in their own bed. Let's begin. I heard my wife and her partner insulting me during sex, and it's really making me question about our future together. Posted by Reddit user Broken Arrow.
Been ethical non-monogamy with my wife for over a decade. We've had our ups and downs, but generally it's been great. We have our rules, the most fundamental one being that even in the context of ethical non-monogamy, we would always operate on a bedrock foundation of mutual respect for each other and each other's partners. We never got hung up on the not in our bed nonsense. If my wife has a date, I'd rather she be in her own space where she feels safe and in control, and where she knows I have access in case anything goes wrong. We both take partners back to our home regularly. We have no kids, so there's no problem there. We had agreed that if one of us gets home and the other is there with a partner, then we don't disturb the date and just wait until it's over. We've also always gotten off on listening in on each other when this happens, which anyone we bring back home is made fully aware of. Usually, we all have a drink together afterwards. I got to my house and she was there with her longest-term partner, who has been in our lives for about 6 years at this point. They didn't know I was in the house and I started listening from the landing. They were talking about me in an incredibly humiliating way. He would give her prompts, asking her questions about how pathetic and useless I am, and she would agree, about how I can't fuck and I'm a shit husband, and she would agree and pile on with name-calling and degrading comments about me. For what it's worth, I know it's part of a power and humiliation dynamic, but I don't care. I was fucking furious. It's not an ego thing. I know I'm a good attentive husband, and if I can allow myself a moment of conceit, I'm a pretty damn good lay as well. I would not ever tolerate any partner of mine saying a bad word about my wife, and I would die before I participate in anything that humiliates her even if she's not there. At no point in our ethical non-monogamy journey did I consent to become the object of my wife's derision and disrespect when she's on a date, especially with her closest and longest-running partner. I walked into the bedroom and told him to get the fuck out. My wife was livid and said no, he's not going anywhere, but I put my foot down and kicked him out of the house. We had a massive fight. She told me I was being a huge pussy. I told her she doesn't respect me, and some harsh words were said from both sides. That was Tuesday night and we haven't really spoken since. I certainly won't be the first to make contact, and she's been staying at his place all week, which is a major violation of our ground rules, but I also broke them by kicking him out. For 13 years I've worshipped the ground she walks on, and I refuse to accept the way they talk about me, even in the heat of the moment. It's not right and I won't stand for it. It's really put the future of our marriage into question, because I won't move forward with him still in the picture, and that will cause a volcanic amount of friction. She really likes him and has known him for almost half the time she's known me. It would severely disrupt our system, and I know she would resent me for it. But I also know I will resent her if he stays. I feel steadfast in this, but I'd appreciate a sanity check before I make any drastic moves. And now for OP's first update. My wife came home last night and we had a very long and incredibly difficult conversation. She texted me yesterday and asked if it was okay with me if she came home after work. I said it's her home too, and that I'd been waiting for her for 3 days. There's no way I could go through everything that was said, so I'll just summarize what I feel were my biggest takeaways. Basically, there was some good and some bad, and we're taking baby steps on crackling ice. As soon as she walked in the door and saw me, she broke down and started apologizing. For what they said, for what she said afterwards, and for leaving, all of it. The shit talk about me has been going on for nearly 2 years. Started around the time COVID lockdowns were relaxing so we could see friends with benefits again. She had told him she'd missed him during sex the first time they met back up. He told her yeah, because all she's had in lockdown is me. And it escalated from there. They don't do it regularly, just from time to time, and that she was mortified I had heard it. She said she never means any of that stuff, but it turns him on and the sex is better as a result. Dude has his own major insecurities apparently, and she had taken it upon herself to make him feel more like a man. And she never thought I'd ever hear or be hurt by it. The way she phrased it was that when they shit talk like that, it pretty much tends to be around stuff that he doesn't feel he measures up about, and she always knows it's false and has never spoken a bad word about me outside that headspace. Her initial burst of anger when I barged in the bedroom, she says, came from a place of extreme embarrassment and shame. I should note that while we do get off on listening, we never watch each other. We've tried a few times, but there's something about the visual that rubbed us both the wrong way, so we stopped. So for her, when I walked in, it was kind of like a parent busting in on you masturbating to some fucked up porn. It is also true that when I walked in, he did have her in a very vulnerable position performing a humiliating sex act on her, so I see how that could have made her erupt in shame. Upon reflection, it may also be possible that seeing her in that compromised position added to my own anger in that moment as well. She was also feeling embarrassed on behalf of the guy that she wasn't able to provide a safe place for him, and blamed me in the moment for embarrassing them both. This also fueled her defensiveness afterwards and her refusal to back down or concede anything. I'd made her feel like a whore, apparently. She apologized unreservedly for not acknowledging my feelings on the night, and for not apologizing straight away. She regrets the things she said during our big fight, and that I was totally right to feel the way I did, and that she was just feeling humiliated and cornered, but that she knows I must have felt even worse. I asked her if she loves him. Of course not, she says. They have great sexual chemistry and she cares about him a lot, but they would never be compatible in real life, and not once has she ever contemplated a future with him. It somehow upset her that I would think that. However, she confessed that she has known for over a year that he has been in love with her since at least before the pandemic. He tells her frequently, but she never says it back. She said that it made their time together more intimate and enjoyable, and since she knew she could never reciprocate his feelings, it wasn't a threat. She's made it clear to him plenty of times that a future between them wasn't on the cards. This part has been really difficult for me to process. She said they would stop that kind of talk going forward. I said not good enough, I want him out. She started crying and said she feared I would want that but hoped I wouldn't. She asked if there's any way they might be able to continue. I said she could hang out with him all she wants, but she'd be doing it as a single woman. She cried, but she agreed to break things off. She asked if they can meet up one more time because they never got the chance to say bye. I agreed on the condition that they leave me out of it and that she makes it clear to him that that will be the last time they ever even speak. Any further contact of any kind after that will be the end of us. I should also note that in our subsequent fight that night, at one point I did say something like, well, why don't you just fuck off to his place then? In a rhetorical way that you sometimes do in heated argument, and in a moment of pettiness she said fine I will, and packed a bag and went. She spent the first night with him out of spite, but they did not have sex and she would not have stayed any further nights except he went away for work, so she had his place to herself. Out of pride she was holding out and waiting for me to make contact before coming back, just as I was. We had to take around a half-hour break when I told her I had gone as far as making an appointment with an attorney for next week. She didn't handle that well at all and had a severe panic attack. She said she never imagined that would ever be on the cards, and that she would have come home days ago if she thought I was even remotely thinking about it. That she can't imagine life without me. Finally, I asked her how I'm supposed to believe the things she's telling me or if she's full of shit. She said she promises she's being truthful, and she's never broken a promise to me before, which is true. So I'm inclined to mostly believe her explanations, but there's still a lot of things I need to work through, process, ask about, and convince myself of. We decided we would close the marriage for a couple of months to focus on our own relationship and then reassess. I've canceled my meeting with the lawyer and we're going to go to counseling. She offered to close her side unilaterally and let me keep seeing my partners, but this is about both of us. I'm not interested in having her punish herself for the sake of it. I still have to figure out if 1, I really fully believe what she told me, and 2, if I'm satisfied to continue. I'll take our time while we're closed to make up my mind. It'll be tough, but I'm willing to at least try and work on it. I've been steeling myself for divorce all week, so that's the mindset I've been in, and I acknowledge that I owe it at least to the relationship we had to give it a hard try. Edit. A lot of you in the comments have been asking why I would ever allow one final date between them, especially a private one. I've given some explanation in replies, but I feel it might be worth expanding on. Believe me, I've considered a lot of the same things that you've mentioned. Why would she even want to? Does she really not love him? It's only adding to the disrespect. The main reason I'm agreeing to it is, counterintuitively, to give our marriage the best chance going forward. I don't want there to always be the chip in her head of I wish we had one last day on top of whatever other resentment she might already feel from having to break up. I'm only doing this under the strict understanding that any more bullshit, or any more contact after this in any way whatsoever is an immediate guillotine to our marriage. No trial, no appeal, just summary execution right then and there. There's no way I could have made this more clear to her, so the ball is in her court. Underpinning my decision though, I have to admit that for the past week I've been painting myself a light shade of apathy. My mind has been so focused on the divorce process and life after marriage that the prospect is less scary to me. Logically, I should have been furious that she even asked to see him one last time. But honestly, I just didn't care. If it helps you move on, go for it. It seems I'm the one more mentally prepared for divorce than you are, so if you want to blow it all up, go for it. I'm ready type of thing. I should also mention that I insisted we wait to close our marriage until after we've had a chance to be with our other partners as well. Don't know if that's good or bad. Maybe it's bad. But not only does that give me a chance to meet with my friends with benefits one last time for God knows how long, she's not the only one with attachments to other people. But it also means that his memory is diluted. He won't be the last other guy she gets with before we hibernate. Maybe that's petty or counterproductive, but fuck him. They're meeting up tomorrow and she has made it clear to him that this will be the last time. If she wants to violate that pledge or any other, then I'm already 3 to 4 steps ahead on the other side. So I'm just not scared even if it backfires. Now for OP's second update. I didn't really plan to write another update, but a bunch of you have messaged me asking about what's been happening, so maybe it's worth one. Firstly, we found an ethical non-monogamy friendly therapist with some really good references, so we've gone to see her 4 times so far, which she said was a pretty intense schedule, and that usually she recommends weekly or bi-weekly appointments, but that given the crisis we are in, we would benefit from more frequent sessions in the short term and saving our arguments, fights, and discussions for our sessions with her so things don't get out of hand. We're officially closed now. We both saw who we needed to see and it's just the 2 of us. The therapist said 2 months was nowhere near long enough, so we've closed indefinitely for now. And we'll see down the line when we open back up. My wife's friends with benefits didn't take their split well. He came to the house to talk to me and try and change my mind, but I wouldn't open the door to him. Ended up calling the cops after he started getting aggressive. He's out of the picture now, and the even better news is that he was too upset to even consummate that last meeting of theirs. His last memory of sex with my wife is me busting in on him, and now he has to live with that. Our third therapy session was really brutal. She came clean about a bunch of stuff that really shocked me, maybe even more than the whole insult thing. She had been breaking ground rules pretty much left and right for the thrill of it, often in really specific and deliberate, and pretty hurtful ways. My trust in her is pretty much non-existent right now, and regardless of therapy, I've given myself until the end of the year to begin feeling some trust in her again. Otherwise, I don't see much point going on. I'm struggling with bitterness due to the fact that trying to save my marriage means I'll likely lose other relationships with people special to me, and it could all be for no reason in the end. Right now, it's just one step at a time. Not much more to do than fight through it, but I am a fighter. P.S. None of you warned me how goddamned expensive therapy is, but you best believe it's coming out of the joint account. Little edit. Hey folks, I know that obviously this is a really bad situation, and she's done a lot wrong. But I should explain a bit about why I'm willing to fight for it and why I'd rather not see people denigrating her in these replies. Despite everything I've explained in these few posts, we're talking about a truly incredible woman. She's warm, she's loving, she's kind, she's so intelligent, she's fierce. She's always been the first to help whoever needs it, the last to leave when more still needs to be done. She takes care of her family. She's hilarious with a wicked sense of humor. She's adventurous. She loves life. She loves to laugh, and she doesn't suffer fools. She's also incredibly gorgeous. I mean, like actual magazine cover stunning. And if I can be a bit off color, she can fuck like Olympus thunder over the waves. She's been the love of my life. She's made some life-changing mistakes, but if there's any way to go back to what we had, I'm prepared to slog through pain to get there. And lastly, for OP's final update. Hi everyone, just one final update here. We tried our best, but unfortunately, it has not worked out. I haven't been able to get past it. There is no trust there anymore. There's fondness, but I don't know if I can even call it love anymore. She's pretty devastated, which I don't take any pleasure in. At least I'm doing a pretty decent job of letting go of the anger. Therapy has helped a lot for that. Maybe if it was just our relationship impacted, we might have been able to make it work. But it's had a ruinous effect on a number of other relationships as well, and an impact on my life beyond just my marriage. Among other things, she had sought out and slept with a couple of close friends and a work subordinate of mine. Those friendships which I've had for decades are now over, and that person at work has been let go. All of it is having knock-on effects on other parts of my personal and work life. It's not something I can get over. The separation and divorce will at least be amicable. We won't be battling it out in the courts. We've already agreed on a division of assets that we both agree is fair. Luckily, neither of us has had to rely financially on the other while we've been together. I've decided that after the divorce is finalized, I'll have no more contact with her whatsoever. I need a clean break. One silver lining is that I've been able to meet back up with a couple of my partners from before and had a grand old time. I made the mistake of saying, genuinely and with no bad intention, that at least now she can meet back up with the other guy again. She didn't take that the way I meant it and thought I was having a dig at her, and we had a big fight, but then it smoothed over. In any event, it's on to the next adventure now. They enjoy single life for a while. I've still got a good chunk of my youth left, and fortunately I still look like it. I'll take my wins whenever I can get them. I'm in mourning but also excited about what life has in store. One major thing is that she never wanted to be a parent, and I did before we got married. The prospect of fatherhood is open to me again, and that's really life-affirming. Onward and upwards.
So, she fucked your friends and coworkers as part of this bullshit? God damn, OP. I'm impressed that you can stay amicable about this. Because frankly, good fucking riddance. Just stay single for now, OP. I mean, you go out and get different pussies anyway, so what's the fucking point of being married if you're both just gonna fuck other people? So you can lose half your shit when she gets bored of you? Just grow your collection of friends with benefits, man. Don't get married again. Viewer support is the best way for me to remain independent and continue bringing you these daily videos, which will always be here on my channels for you to watch absolutely free. So please consider subscribing to me on Rumble and on YouTube. Both will be linked in the description box down below. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, consider subscribing to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.